Hi, I'm Britt.
And my name is Alissa.
And this is Skeletales.
And this is the podcast where we strive to answer the age-old question of, is my dead grandma watching me?
You know when you're at home and you get a song stuck in your head, and I swear by the moon and the stars, and you're like, I haven't heard that song since high school. That's weird. You get in the car and you turn your radio on, and I swear, and you're like, what? That is so crazy. You get to the grocery store, you get in the grocery store, you're in the bread aisle, and I swear, and it's the music is falling. You haven't heard the song since high school, and all of a sudden, it's all around you.
Yes.
Dead grandma, baby.
Grandma.
She's just reaching out with those strange coincidences, and she says, "Hey, girl, I'm here. I'm with you."
She's really into that one song. What was it? What is that song that you're singing?
Is it Boys to Men? Maybe?
Oh, I don't know. Like of this, all the songs you chose to get stuck. Like I'm like, I don't think I've ever had that song stuck in my head.
Well,
but I knew
you
what
got
you were
it stuck
saying.
in my head because you were getting frustrated with your equipment, and you go, "I swear," and then I said, "And I swear," and now it's stuck in my head, and I'm just gonna hear it everywhere I go from now on.
Now it might get stuck in my hair.
And now everybody who's listening, you do get stuff stuck in your hair.
My head and my hair. I literally picked a twig out of my hair right before we started recording on camera. Britt saw that happen. I think I was distracted. I wasn't frustrated with my equipment. I was frustrated with myself and my clumsiness and propensity to breaking my equipment. So it was more on, I swear, Alissa, on my stars and my sun, I swear. That's
sky.
exactly what I said. But that's weird. I didn't know those were the lyrics to a song too by Boys to Men. I don't know. I have no clue.
We're hip with the music scene over here.
Yeah.
Alissa, do we just talk about songs, boy band songs from the 90s?
No, Britt, we tell true tales of the strange, unusual, and paranormal.
That's right. What are we talking about tonight?
I just think we're going to talk about some spooky shit. Maybe a little bit of not so imaginary friend stories.
Ooh.
And just
I got some shadowy figures over here.
All right. So not so imaginary shadows. Not so. Oh, God. Okay. It's a late one.
Title. Yeah, this is later than we normally record. We're doing it. Do you want to go first, or am I going to go first?
Britt.
Yes.
You go first.
I will. Thank you. This story comes from Anonymous. To set the scene, it was my significant other, our 2-year-old, and myself in a 1-bedroom apartment. My 2-year-old, we should call this 2-year-old something because it's going to drive me crazy if I don't have a name for the 2-year-old.
Penelope.
Perfect.
Gerard. Penelope Gerard.
PJ for short, right? Or no, Gerard's G. PG.
No.
Penelope Gerard was in bed, close to the wall by the door, and our bed was on the other side of the room, but to where I could see Penelope Gerard and also see the bathroom door, which was located just outside of the room. It first started out with minor bad feelings, the usual walk into the apartment and feeling that something is off, bad vibes all around. One night while we were sleeping, I'd awoken to a strange feeling that Penelope Gerard was up to something that she shouldn't have been. 2-year-olds. The room is completely dark, so I sit up to have a look around, and almost immediately this small shadow catches my eye. It's Penelope Gerard, and she's standing at the entrance of the bathroom looking back at me, and then proceeds to sidestep into the bathroom out of my view. I wake up and ask my significant other, "Hey, wake up. Why is Penelope out of their bed? How did they climb out?" And my significant other says, "What are you talking about? Penelope's in her crib asleep." My eyes finally adjust to the dark, and I see Penelope Gerard sleeping peacefully in their crib.
I didn't know that the name was going to be mentioned so many times in this story, but I'm loving it.
PG's in her crib.
Okay.
My heart starts picking up pace at this point as I'm trying to figure out, who did I just see walk into our bathroom? So I get out of bed and rush to the bathroom, ready to catch whoever it is. I flip on the light, but the bathroom is empty. It's just me staring at my reflection in the mirror. I turn off the light and head back to bed, confused about what just happened and not sure what I saw. Fast forward a few nights, and I'm still thinking about what happened. There I am in bed next to, I should really give his significant other a name. Sally, maybe? Sosha.
Like that.
In bed next to Sosha with Penelope Gerard sound asleep. Again, I wake up to this strange feeling like we're being watched. I open my eyes. My body is still. I'm paralyzed, trapped in my own body. So we know what this is. Sleep paralysis, right?
Mm-hmm.
My eyes search across the room, and I look at the door to our bedroom, and what I saw made my heart drop. There was this man at our bedroom door, classic. Something about him was off completely, like he was something otherworldly in a man's body. He was more shadow than detail, and his posture was hunched like he was trying to be quiet, like he was stalking his prey. The shadow man begins to creep towards me, lurching closer to my bed. My mind is racing. I'm thinking, tonight's the night. An invader has finally entered our home, and I was the only one awake. I start planning my attack and what I'm going to do to defend my family, but my body is still immobilized. The intruder then does the unthinkable. He places one foot on my bed, then the other, and slowly starts creeping higher and higher up the bed. He is standing over me, and in the quick moment of fear, I was able to break out and kick both legs up towards the shadow man, hoping to catch him by surprise and ready to leap at him. As I kicked up, I felt the weight of my blanket fly off my body. I wasn't going to wait to hear the sound of a thud as he fell back. I was in fight or flight, and my only focus was on jumping on this thing as fast as possible and keeping my family safe. My violent kick wakes up Sosha in a panic. I get up ready to pounce when I see that there's no one there. Sosha says, "What the hell's going on?" I say, "There was a man in our room. I kicked the shit out of him. He was right there." The room is empty and dark. No man, no intruder, no sound. The silence is broken by my wife telling me to check the rest of the apartment, and after I looked around, there was no one there. I go back to bed and try to sleep, but my adrenaline was still pumping, so sleep really wasn't on the table. A few months after this event, we decide to move and upgrade to a bigger place to live, and since moving there hasn't been the bad vibes as to the apartment. No shadow man, no little girl, just the three of us, thankfully. Classic sleep paralysis until the shadow person fucking steps on the bed.
Well,
is that normal?
So many of the pictures and like paintings from like historic depictions of sleep paralysis do have a little, like, what do they call it? A monster on your chest or the troll on your chest. And it is a little hunched creature, like standing on top of people. I don't know. I mean, the idea of it slowly walking up to you and then standing over you. I mean, that's why it is a really terrifying experience. I think that's part of it. Is when I had it, it wasn't that vivid and clear, though.
So along this same vein of sleep paralysis, I found this story from Kay, who says, many years ago when I was a teenager and lived with my family in Mexico, something funny happened to me. I was asleep in my room, which had a balcony above the street, and the whole wall from that side that faced the street was a picture window. So just a big old window that led out to the balcony, which was also all glass. Oh, wait, hold on. Am I saying that right? So there's a balcony and it was a big glass picture window. We had a baseball stadium across the street, so this glass broke pretty often. So it was around 2 a.m. and I was dreaming some weird stuff and then suddenly woke up and there was someone sitting over my chest pressing against my ribs with its legs and its hands pressing down between my chest and throat. Classic sleep paralysis, right?
Yeah, I still hate it.
The thing was humanoid, all black, very thin, a bit like the body of an alien from the Alien movies. But instead of the huge, weird head, it was a humanoid bald head, and its eyes were just like dark over dark. I was paralyzed, and for a minute, maybe I used all the fear and rage in me to force my right arm to move, and then I don't know how, but I pushed that thing as far as I could, like smacked it with an open hand in the chest, and it flew towards the window glass, and I heard it breaking, and I saw the thing jump like a grasshopper across the street towards the roof of the baseball stadium. I was like, what the fuck was that? And I go up to check the window, but it wasn't broken. 3 minutes later, my mother comes running into my room with messy hair and asks me, what the hell happened? Did someone throw a brick into my window? She heard the glass shatter. And I told her what happened, and we both wondered, how did she also hear the glass break when it didn't? So I've talked to several people who have had sleep paralysis before, or even people who've seen the shadow man or the hat man, a shadow person. And most of them have this feeling that it's an otherworldly being, an otherworldly creature who's super intelligent. But, I mean, these don't talk about intelligence. That's mostly with the shadow people or hat man. But what is it? Is it an alien thing? Is it a thing from the future? I'm perplexed. And this is very perplexing. The creature escaped, broke the window, but it didn't break the window.
I feel like we must have talked about sleep paralysis at some point, and like just that sleep state is such a weird kind of in between states. And are we more susceptible to seeing things we wouldn't normally see because we're in that state, right? Maybe. I don't know. Is that like, so possibly these creatures are about and we don't normally see them, and it just allows that? So some interdimensional beings.
You've had sleep paralysis before. Multiple times or just once?
One time for sure that I had an experience or the feeling of somebody walking over from the doorway up to me and standing over me or like holding me down.
And you couldn't move?
Mm-hmm. I definitely could not make out any features. I would not have called it an alien, like not even dark. Like I don't even know, just a presence is like kind of what it was. Thank God if that's what a clear picture of it looked like, what this person is describing.
The eyes, black on black eyes.
Fuck that. It was scary. It was definitely scary. It didn't feel like a friendly, warm thing. It was definitely shocking and jolting and very scary. Yeah. So that's why like I think I get freaked out because when I hear these stories, because like I've felt that like presence.
Do people with sleep paralysis have more vivid dreams? Or dream more often than people who don't have sleep paralysis?
There was something where they were able to replicate sleep paralysis. I'm almost positive there was some sort of study that they could like make it happen to people.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if those people necessarily have more nightmares. I think they just are problem sleepers in general. They're just not great. You know, like I think that's it, because I know it is linked to sleep deprivation can trigger it. I don't know. But why are we seeing? Why are we defaulting to these kind of weird shadowy creatures? Is a very interesting question.
Is like going into the deepest fears that we have? You know, somebody intruding in our house, trying to get our family. Although that doesn't explain the little child getting into mischief. Well, that could be a deep fear too. I don't know. Kids can be very mischievous.
Yeah, but having it be this weird, like bald, hunched creature with like gray eyes or whatever. I don't know. What you described was very much to me that vampire from the original Dracula, like that Boris. I don't know. Do you know what I'm talking about? But he's like hunched and his shadow is on the staircase and it's very like, so that's what I'm picturing. I'm like, well, maybe everyone is now kind of picturing that too. And we've like made that up as a like society, you know, that's what we fear is bumping in the night and lurking in the dark. But no, because all those historical pictures of sleep paralysis too has the little troll on the chest or whatever the heck it is.
I know.
I don't know, man.
It's so mysterious.
You've never had it. It's very scary. And I think that's it. It's very scary.
I've had it before where I was awake and couldn't move. I mean, I was a kid. I think it was
that's freaky.
7 or 8, young. But I wasn't really scared. I was more just like perplexed. Like, why can I hear everybody, but I can't move my body? It wasn't fearful of like, oh, a shadow thing's near me. It was, I didn't understand.
Yeah, no, like on. I think I've done that. My brain wakes up before my body or something. Mm-hmm. It's like, wait, what the heck? My face is awake, but no other part of me is. No, it's a different feeling. It's different than that. It's not too different, but like there's a presence and there's a fear. I don't know. Well, that was freaky. I really love Penelope Gerard. The tale
Good
of
old
Penelope.
PG.
I was too busy laughing at her name a lot of that.
You did not even hear the story
at
all,
I totally definitely blanked out for good parts of it.
That's okay.
I think I picked up most of it. I'll listen again in editing. I'll be like, oh shit, I should have said that. I totally didn't hear that. Okay. So this story is titled, I am a psychic that grew up in a haunted house. This is one of my many encounters.
Woo-hoo, I am into it already.
Okay, so it goes, I had a childhood imaginary friend like most children. I remember playing with him at my grandma's house all the time. As young as I was, I didn't realize what my grandmother meant about an imaginary friend. To me, Rice was just a friend. He seemed as real as everyone else. We would play together all of the time, as I didn't have any other friends at my grandma's. He was a person with his own ideas, a boy about my age. I even remember his blue eyes, how they matched his overalls he always wore. As I grew older and I would see him less, and when I did, he appeared as a shadow. I would tell my grandmother, Rice is my shadow. He became one of the many presences I would come to know in that house, and one of the good ones. Years later, as my grandmother grew sick, she saw Rice herself. My grandmother was in a hospital bed in the living room. She wanted to be home when she died. She would slip in and out of reality with the medicine prescribed for her condition. Most would think that what she saw was a delusion, but I know better. My mom was helping her with something when she asked, "Who's the little boy?" My mom looked while asking, "What boy, Mom?" "The little boy hiding over there with the overalls. He doesn't live here. He needs to go home." Not long after, she saw her parents, who had been long past. She said they were outside waiting to take her home, and she didn't want to be late. As close as she was to death, she gained the ability to see the other side. My grandmother's passing, along with the other experiences I have had, led me on a great pursuit to understand why I have been given these abilities and to understand the other side and how it affects this one.
Oh, that's so good. She saw Rice.
Is it a she? Oh yeah.
The grandmother saw Rice.
Probably a she. Yes. I think when I read this one, I was like, oh my God, Britt is going to love this.
I do.
Rice turned into a shadow, and you're so obsessed with the shadow.
Oh my God, I know.
Shadow people.
Well, and it's interesting. It goes along with the same theory that little kids have abilities that adults don't. So like this, as a child, the little boy was very clear with overalls and bright blue eyes. And then as they got older, that like is dissolved to just shadow.
Faded away. Is Rice a ghost then? Or did Grandma just gain an imaginary friend?
I'm going ghost.
Ghost.
I'm going ghost.
Okay.
Because what are the chances that an imaginary friend would also be Grandma's imaginary friend? If it's just your imagination. Like, it's got to be the ghost. Also, this person says they're psychic. So, like, clearly they've experienced other entities or things happening around them in the house, right?
Yeah. So then ghosts just fade away. So little kids can see ghosts, and then they just eventually all just fade away into the background. And we're just like, no, it's just your imagination, just an imaginary friend. So I wonder if that ghost boy lived in the house years before even they did. I want to know more about this child.
I was going to tell you a story about a ghost coming to visit somebody, but I am switching things up on you because I have a story that I have been saving for just this moment. I'm keeping on your same vein of, you know what? I'm not going to give it away. I'm just going to read it to you.
Let's hear it.
This is from Violet. I worked 7 years in hospice and have witnessed so many stories of past family members who have come to escort loved ones to their heavenly home. Having had this experience, I'm always in tune with what I refer to as heavenly visits and sendings. So I want to share my beloved mother's story. My mom never got to know her own mother as she was killed in a car accident when my mom was an infant at 9 months old. My mom died 5 years ago from kidney failure and lung cancer. During the final last days before my mom became unresponsive, she experienced heavenly visits from those who had formerly passed. One such incident occurred one afternoon when she called me over to her bed and said, "Baby, who is that woman standing over there in the corner? She's smiling at me and looking at me as though she knows me. And I feel like I should know her too."
Wait, what was that part? I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
"And I feel like I should know her too." Not discounting it, it quickly came to me as to who it must be. I asked her, "Mom, do you think it's your mother?" A curious look came over her face. Without a word, she suddenly gasps. With a big smile, she nodded her head yes. For a few more moments, she kept a gaze on the woman in the corner. I feel so privileged to have been able to share this moment with my mom, and so honored that her mother allowed me to do so. On another occasion, my mom seemed a little annoyed and called me over to her bedside requesting, "Honey, can you stop those little boys from running in the room?" I asked her to tell me more about the little boys who were running in the room, and she went on to explain, "There are 2 little boys, and they're twins, and they're running in the room playing." She wanted to know who they were and how they got there. Again, I remembered that my mom had had a set of twins that she lost in childbirth. I asked her, "Mom, could those be your little boys that you lost?" Again, my mom gasped. This time, her annoyance vanished, and she replied, "Yes, they are." It was then that I knew that my mom's time was short, and I would not have time with her that I had hoped. I asked my mom that when my time came, that if she would come to get me, not knowing if she would be the chosen one, she replied, "I'll do my best." Soon after that, my mom became unresponsive and died a few days later. I am certain in my heart that she walked away escorted by her own mother and 2 of her children.
Oh, I love that. I thought it was going to be a not so imaginary friend story, so you totally bamboozled me.
But hearing about the grandmother, seeing the things at the end of her life, it's like you see it at the beginning of your life and at the end.
I wonder, I kind of want to like go volunteer at a hospice, see what we see.
I want to not do that,
Yeah.
but bring a recorder and just talk to a few hospice people.
That's
All
not
of the
a bad idea.
hospice.
I was kind of daydreaming about that. I'm like, oh, I should go volunteer. And then I think I would just be a real sad mess.
Oh, I don't do well. I watch a commercial and I will cry if somebody is like sad. I would not do well in that situation.
Yeah, the first person, I'm like, oh no, I'm not here for this. I'm only here for the ghosts. Get me out of here. No. Sorry.
Will you hold my hand? No, sorry, I can't do that. But do you see anybody in the corner?
I'll hold your hand if you tell me if there's anyone in the room with you right now.
What are you holding back? What are you holding back? Tell me everything.
Okay, that's terrible. That's elder abuse. I wouldn't.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. No, we wouldn't do that.
And I do love talking to older people and stuff. So I could do that, but I just don't want to watch them die.
Agreed. I don't have it. I would just be a sobbing mess.
Yeah, I think I'd just be real sad and depressed and real existential and brooding a lot if I dealt with that all the time. Let's talk about ghost stories instead.
Perfect.
Okay, but love that story. Love hospice stories in general. Love it. You know, people who write in and tell those stories don't seem like maybe they're built for it. Maybe.
I think it really does take a certain kind of person who can see the beauty in death, because there is beauty in death. My mind immediately goes to the loss of it all, but there's also, things to be gained from death as well. Being free, at peace, all that.
I thought you were talking like inheritance, jewels, insurance policies.
Oh, mercy. All right. You got one more?
I do have one more. And this one here comes from our friend of the podcast, Lori. And Lori wrote me saying, I was in my kitchen one morning making food for the kids before they started their online school, and I was the only one awake. My kitchen lights were on and the playroom lights were off. You've been in my house, so you know you can see the downstairs from the kitchen. Which is true. It's it's like a split level and the kitchen is above. A sharp light hauled ass near the downstairs walkout door to near the entrance to the office and just stopped. It was about a foot away from the doorway to leave the room, and it was gone. Now Mavis, my 90-pound dog, came flying down the stairs at that exact moment and stared at the doorway. She never leaves the bedroom before Tony, and she sat there for a good 5 minutes while I tried to figure out if it could be some type of light from our backyard, but there was no possible way. It was much like Yondu and his little arrow in Guardian of the Galaxies. I don't know. I get that reference.
I don't know it either, but I'm sure other people do.
That's what you threw in there, Lori. I'm guessing it's a glowing little arrow, right?
Oh, isn't the blue dude?
That's the blue dude.
Oh, his arrow, though. It was like his arrow?
Listen, I watch movies and then I immediately forget them. I forget exactly what happened.
I didn't know he had an arrow.
He's got an arrow. It looks like he's blowing on it in this picture. I remember.
We are so hip.
Was he a good guy or a bad guy? I think he's a bad guy, right?
I thought he was a bad guy, maybe turned good? No, he looks pretty bad.
Okay, so it was much like Yondu and his little arrow in Guardians of the Galaxy. Shit. The Galaxy. When I take over the universe, that's what it will be.
That's right.
The Galaxy. Galaxy? Is that what I'm trying to say?
I know. I was like, how do we change this?
Galaxy.
Alissa.
Just The
Doesn't work.
Alissa. Oh, well, that doesn't sound cool at all.
Oh, no one's going to want to go there.
Okay, so maybe it was a bad little light is maybe what she's saying with that. Of course, nothing has happened since, and I'm hoping to get a hold of a Ouija board soon, because it had better be Grandma. Oh.
Yes. Oh, Lori.
You know what? I was over at Lori's a week or so ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, because Mila was there, and one of her kids was telling me the story. Oh, because the Blue Angels were in town. And I had seen when I was out in California, a stealth fighter or some shit, some like stealth
jet.
Stealth jet.
Plane?
I would say it was a plane. It was an air vehicle, but it didn't make any noise. And all of a sudden it was just there and it was like hanging there. And it was like this black triangle in the sky. And my brain couldn't even make sense of it. It was.
You were immediately like UFO.
Oh, I was. And I took out my phone and I recorded it. And I like was not driving well because of that. And then I texted Mitch and he's like, oh yeah, that's the stealth blah, 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 whatever. And I was like, oh, I don't know. So anyway, we were talking about that. And Lori's son was saying, oh yeah, I saw this last year, this thing, the jets, the Blue Angels. He kept saying it was blue. They just came down and they were like right in the yard. They like came straight down. And he kept telling me the story about how it came down in this one spot. And every time he like told the story, it was like lower and lower and lower in the yard until like, I think it was just in the grass. The jet parked in his lawn. But now I'm wondering if it was really even the Blue Angels at all that they saw.
Did he know that the Blue Angels were planes? Was he actually seeing angels that are blue?
That's an excellent question. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he thought it was black. It was a black airplane sort of thing, and it came down. But it sounds like this was homeschooling time, which would have been last year. So maybe this little light was a little alien, and the Blue Angel he was talking about, the jet, was actually a UFO.
Oh, snap.
And Tony's really an alien.
Don't tell Lori.
Lori, get out of the house. Go now. We figured it out.
What was the other story that Lori shared with us? Was that the one of her college boyfriend? And
yes.
She caught him cheating because some guardian angel. Oh, it was the dog. That's right.
At the corner, and there was a creepy ass voice from the corner. Common thread, a dog staring.
Mabel staring at the light. Oh,
something's up. Oh my gosh. Okay, Lori, thank you for putting us in the loop. We're on the case.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Detective Skelletails on the mission.
Need like flashlights under her deck tonight. We'll be investigating.
She's like, Alissa, what are you doing? The Blue Angels.
I got it. I put it all together.
My next story comes from an individual named Yarn. Pretty sure that's a pseudonym. When I was around 14 or 15 years old, I had a lot of bad things going on around me at that time. A lot of mistreatment, abuse, and I was very depressed. Well, this is when it gets crazy. I usually would like to lay in a warm bath after school. That was my place to decompress and be stress-free for a few minutes. One day, as I was getting out of the bath, I looked up and saw my grandfather in his mailman outfit, who had passed away 5 years before that, standing there looking at me while I was naked.
No.
And he said to me, "Everything is going to be okay." I was so frightened and confused. All I could do was close the shower curtain and scream, "Go away!" It took me a while to open the curtain, but when I did, he was gone. Why would he choose to come see me and tell me that when I was naked? I hoped that it would never happen again. Well, a few months later, things were still bad in my life. One day when I was in the bath, the same thing happened. I look up and my grandfather was standing there again, and he told me, "Everything is going to be okay." I flipped out, started covering myself and yelling at him to stop doing this and that you're scaring me. And after that, It never happened again. This was 40 years ago, and I've never told anyone this, but it still haunts me. Is it wrong that I sometimes feel guilty for pushing him away? And that's how she ends. She's feeling guilty, but she was also like creeped out that Grandpa's coming and she's naked.
Did things get better? That was my question. Did things get better?
Oh, good question.
Because, like, Grandpa is trying to come and spread peace and comfort. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, too distracted by the fact that Grandpa is appearing while she is the most vulnerable and naked in the bathroom, that she is even unable to receive. It completely counteracts the soothing words and soothing message that he is trying to present.
Totally.
It is very odd that he is presenting himself at this time. I can't it's everything I'm saying sounds so gross.
Like you're thinking pervy Grandpa.
Yes. And because she's naked and Grandpa, and we know that she has a history of abuse and stuff. And so that's just odd. Okay. My point is the bathroom is a magic conduit to the afterlife, and it might be his only way in.
Oh, to tell her his comforting words.
Yes. She's got to be like immersed in water.
Surrounded by water.
And
or
the bathroom,
wet.
It's the echo chamber. We've spoken about this, something with the vibrations and the
Oh, damn.
Because that's where I do my best work.
That's true. My thoughts were that because this was the only time that she was able to relax and be vulnerable, and her mind was just more opened than the rest of the time that she's awake, is in this bath when she's relaxed, and the one time that she can feel at peace.
But it sounds like immediately as soon as he pops up, she's like, no peace. It's like,
no peace.
Get out
Terror.
of here. Yeah.
This is embarrassing. Stop it, Grampy.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're going with that, but if it was a whole huge soothing experience or whatever, but no, as soon as he shows up, he's still there and she's screaming at him and she is not relaxed anymore. She's like, you creep, get out of here. And then she feels guilty, but it would have been nice if, he would have explained, oh no, I have to ride the sewer pipes here and this is the best way for me to get, some sort of
explanation, just trying to comfort her at the most inconvenient time.
Yeah,
but
I would
if
be
you
freaked
think
out.
about it, if you're in the bathroom, you're either taking a shower, taking a bath, or taking a shit. And so it's not going to be really terribly appropriate at any time.
I mean, maybe she probably, if water has to be involved, I'm sure she went for a swim at some point. I don't like the idea of anyone behind my shower curtain.
I don't
especially
either.
Like my grandpa. But a murderer, ghost, monster, all of it. Nothing. No. Anyone dead. So I don't think she should feel guilty for pushing him away. Maybe she should be like, Grandpa, I'd love to hear what you have to say. Come to me in my sleep. Let me, I could go for a swim in a pond or a pool or something. Or maybe she should just go sit and chill in the bathroom for a while and relax, fully clothed.
Yeah, fully clothed.
Yeah.
Maybe an extra coat on, too, for precaution.
Just layer it up, just in case he's got those X-ray glasses on.
I didn't even think about the bathroom being the conduit of, energy.
Yeah, and the noise and everything, too. I'm actually also, when I'm saying this, picturing 11 in her isolation chamber in Stranger Things, because she is in water in that, and then, the noise of the shower running and the water, it just sensory deprivation.
Is this the newest season you're talking about?
No, even the first one. I think she was in, that's how she went and remember she'd get in water and go travel places and go, they put her in the tank
and it would be
fast.
Like dark. Yes. I do remember now.
Yeah.
I do remember.
Spoiler.
Yes. Everybody who hasn't seen season 1 of Stranger Things. Alissa, this was like a super duper treat.
Yes.
Sweet treat.
Nice. This was good. I like this. It's been a while. It's a late one. We used to do this late all the time.
I know. I'm not used to it anymore.
No, I'm kind of glad we don't do it this late. Although it's the little loopy, goofy times, these late night ones, these little loopy, goofy times.
If you've got a loopy, goofy, spooky story for us, you can email us a story. We love them.
Heck yeah, you can. And you can send those to skeletalspodcast@gmail.com. You can also call us on the hotline. And Britt's got that number.
302-689-DEAD. 302-689-3323. We are on all the social medias. We are due for an Apple podcast review. So I don't know if anybody even does that anymore, but I actually want to read a review for you. So
yeah,
if anybody's feeling inspired to go on Apple Podcast and write a little tick, 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 love you. Oh, hey, we have a merch shop, skeletalspodcast.etsy.com. We were featured, I don't know if you even know this, Alissa, we were featured on Make Shop Social. It's a crafting group. And we were featured because a lot of the things in our merch shop are actually handmade by ourselves. Buttons, notebooks. Alissa does decals, stickers. A lot of that we actually make ourselves. Some of it is not. I don't know how to do screen printing, but
a maker made that.
We're makers.
I really like the buttons. That's pretty fun. I know that you sent Katie a button and she really was pleased with that. Nice little button surprise.
I did. I haven't posted them on social media again.
Let's put those up there. You can go see a picture of the buttons on our Instagram over there. I think the difference between these nighttime ones and the morning ones are probably the caffeine levels. Coffee. I'm real serious and intense. You've tasted our coffee. It's like we don't fuck around.
No, it is. It's like drinking solid espresso for coffee.
Yeah, like gallons of it. Out of our Skeletals mugs, which you could also get over on the website. Hey, Britt. Oh, what?
There was one, sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
There's one thing that you need to know right now.
Oh, I got my pencil.
Get it out.
Got it.
Haunt y'all later.
Haunt you later.
Good night.
Good night.